Alors now, how we are going to put those wedges? There is a very special tool, as you can see. So what you do, you want to cut that bad capillary to put a wedge and plug it. So just remember, you cut the grain of the wood. You don't split the wood. Always perpendicular to the grain. Here or there, it's the same. Always perpendicular.
So, if it's leaking here, for instance,
if it's
how
leaking,
far back do you go?
Alors that's the trick. That you are going
it
to
depends
learn.
on the slope
Yes,
of the...
you are going to learn that by practicing. Sometimes you are going to cut too far or too close. Because if I go back with that one, it's leaking here. You can see that red line here. So it's coming from here. It's leaking here. Now if I put the wedge here, the wine is already so close to the surface, I'm going to have a new leak just behind the wedge. That's not good. If I cut here,
you pass it.
That's the wrong way. Yeah. If I cut here, I have to choose to cut a spot to cut the leaks deep enough. If you are going too far, it's too deep, you can't reach it. So between. So by looking at those exit of the capillary, you are going to see which angle.
You get a feel for how deep the angle is.
Yes, you have a deep angle here, and by looking that one, and when you look that one, you can see it's
very shallow.
Yes. So you put the stem. It's about 1 inch thick. So don't worry, you're not going through. Just about between 1/4 and 1/2 inch. We are mostly 1/4 of inch.
Wow, nice and clean.
Now, it was because it was leaking here. It's coming like that. I put the wedge.
Supposed to stop leaking.
It's not leaking. If it's leaking just behind the wedge, again, it's because I was not far enough. So I'm going to put another one here. If it's leaking, still leaking, maybe it's the wrong way. So I'm going to try here, and always on the same grain. As long as you make something like that, you can see you can put 3 or 4 wedges. It's not going to hurt the barrel until you find the right spot. You have just to try.
Once it's leaking, it's going to keep leaking. It's not. It's not going to stop by itself.
If it's still leaking, it's because the wedge is not at the right place.
But it's the wine after a while is not going to kind of get dry and make it like a plant by himself.
It's exactly when the same thing as when you do a small cut on your finger. If you can't stop the bleeding for a while, it's going to bleed, because the flow of blood clean the hole and never end. So you have to stop it for a while, and you are going to have a build-up, and it stops. For the wood, the same. Sometimes it doesn't need much. You have just to stop it for a while, and the wine inside the wood is going to build up, and that's it.
Is the head a lot difficult?
It's the same. There's the same wood. So now you don't want to put the wedge on the joint.
No.
And when you have to put the wedge very close to the joint, make sure you be careful. You don't want to mess around the joint. It's very critical here. And sometimes looks like it's a joint. The joint is leaking. But what happened? The jointing was bad, or it's not tight enough, it's leaking. And in fact, it's not the joint. That's the first capillary of that stave.
It's usually not the joint that's leaking.
Most of the time, it's never the joint.
Unless the joint is like,
unless the
barrel
is dry.
Can I ask?
Because we have barrel and we can see it through.
What happens if one of the staves is slightly recessed as compared to the two staves it's jointed with? Is that just a faulty?
No, it's because at some point the barrel went dry. You move it, and the stave slip. So when you see that, before you fill up, and even if it's push both sides, and it's gonna pop up. Yeah, but if it's not leaking, you quite well.
Yeah.
Don't touch it.
Yeah. Not broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, exactly.
So you can put the wedge just near the joint. If it's the joint like that who is leaking, what you can do, you sometimes doesn't need much. You can put a wedge sideways like that. Gently, and like that you're going to
Tighten it up.
push the wood. And sometimes put another one here. If it's just a small spot here, and you push it.
The beetles like this size.
Yes, the angle here.
Yeah.
So now if it's a bigger, a bug hole, you put the wedge, or sometimes you can use a toothpick. Right. And if the hole is too small, if the hole is too small, have a nail, make it bigger. Yeah, you can use that. If you don't have that, with the wedge you can do everything. Right on the hole. If it's a small nut, the same. Put the wedge right on the nut.
Because that will kill the bat?
Yeah.
And
Put the wedge just behind. Between the two.
Look at me!
That's it.
Look at me right now, I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill you.
No, because most of the time
But then we don't have
the
to.
bug hole is right straight.
Oh, that's
It doesn't follow the grain.
And then you don't have to do nothing on the side to make it tight.
No.
Do the bugs drill straight in? They don't follow.
Most of the time, yes. Most of the time.
How do they know?
Except if you have it.
Yeah, how do they know? Huh?
They love the
Unless the
crows.
bug is drunk.
Take a little way to get him out.